Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I have an excuse this time why I skipped 2 days. I think they're pretty good excuses. One was it's Thanksgiving Day. I didn't do a video on that day. I spent almost the entire day with my family. And two, the second day, I did post a video, but due to my cognitive impairment, I repeated almost everything in that video compared to the last video I uploaded. As I was talking about it, I remember thinking and even saying at one point, I said, if I already said that, I'm sorry. But I was referring to, sorry, I had my glasses in my shirt. I was referring to, I don't remember what it was I was talking about, but it was like a small little topic in the video. And then as I kept talking and back in my mind, whispering, it just sounded like I talked about it before. When it was uploading, I was thinking of the title to title the video. And I even came up with the same title that I had on the last video. I was like, that's messed up and fascinating. But anyway, I had to delete it because I did not want to repeat the same old information to you. So I will start here. I think it was Thanksgiving night. I fell asleep quickly. In fact, it was like I felt like I was drugged and it just knocked me out. And I don't remember talking to my protectors. I want to say this again. My protectors are ET souls that watch over me. And honestly, I don't know if they watch over me as in protecting, and I don't even know if they are my protectors. And the only reason why I call them my protectors is because they came down to rescue me twice. And so I titled them my protectors. I woke up in the middle of the night with my leg jerking. It was like a reflex kick kind of thing. And I become aware of it, and I opened my eyes, and there was this machinery. I was on my left side with my knees up, or I should say bent. So there was this machinery on my thigh area and this dull yellow light. And I remember looking at it, and I'm so used to them doing things like that, I just went back to sleep. I want to say there was a face there, but I don't remember what the face looked like. And I don't know if they were working on my thigh, my knee, or my hip. And I want to say I heard it too, but I don't remember what it sounded like. And then I asked my protectors if they can, well, first I asked them if they were healers. They said no. And I said, can you find me one? Because I have this issue that I've had for a year. I had got sick, like with a major cold. And it was horrible. And my nose was so congested that I had to blow it several times a day. Well, of course, that went away. The cold did, but the congestion in my nose hasn't. So I'm constantly taking care of all of that. And so when I'm out in public and I haven't blown or anything like that, you can hear it when I inhale that it's rattly and it's embarrassing. And so I did wake up, but I kept my eyes closed because in the past, when I would open my eyes, they would stop what they were doing, or they would disappear, or both, I should say. So this time, I woke up. I did not want to open my eyes because I didn't want them to leave. I felt what felt like they removed the top, I should say the tip of my nose, but I felt them maneuvering around on the bridge of my nose. And maybe they were working up to the point to take that part off. And then when they did, I felt them insert something and go into my sinuses, and they were going back and forth. And all of that was painless. Even the machinery on my hip did not hurt. I kept my eyes closed, and then I fell asleep again. But it felt pretty cool. But then again, when I thought that I would open my eyes and peek, I thought, what if that's a gross situation, or even the tip of my nose gone? How am I going to react? I would have stayed calm, and that's for sure. But yeah, that's what happened that night. I can breathe a little better now. It's not so bad, and which I'm thankful for. I do have to take care of it, the situation up here every now and then, but not as bad as before. So last night, I got in bed a little late. Well, it was actually after 8, actually. It was maybe 9, maybe not even that late. I was supposed to, I thought I was going to have a reading, as in, um, the medium is going to scan information and tell me about myself or whatever. Um, but it turned out it wasn't. He kind of was wanting to put me in I don't know how to title it, a hypnosis, in which it's just so hard to, to put me under. And so we rescheduled because I took a shower. My hair was wet. I was in my night clothes, because we have to be on camera or video. When we hung up, I took my sleeping pills. I have to stop doing that because of 2 things. I don't want to be groggy when my visitors come, and I'm supposed to not be taking them. Okay, so last night I was talking to my protectors, and I can't even remember if they answered my questions. I'm not sure. I do know that I did ask one question, but I don't know the answer. I don't know if I fell asleep. I don't know if I seen the answer or not. I become aware as I was communicating with my protectors that souls were in the room. And it seems like the more the days pass, the more souls come. And I wasn't paying attention to them at first. And then I asked the protector that the first day when I seen him, he's the one that spoke to me, and I couldn't make out what he was saying. I made a request asking him to come back down and talk to me. And I don't know if he did, and I'm not sure, because there were so many entities. But this little tiny person, tiny, maybe 3 foot high, maybe 2.5, but they were in the suit, as I described before, and a helmet. And he was facing me at first, and he turned, and it looked like he was having issues with this helmet. I'm not sure. And so I'm like, I hope you're okay, because it looks like you're having issues. And then he shortly after that disappeared. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then out of the shapes, the geometric shapes, came out a taller figure, similar to the other, in the suit, in the helmet. I don't know what distracted me from him. I don't know if that was the protector I was talking about. I had said, I don't know if it was to him, about him. I said, this is kind of messed up for me because I don't know the good from the bad. And then I said out loud, I said, protectors, will you please protect my room and don't let negative energy in? And they said yes. I don't know if the protector that came in, I don't know if that was him. I'm not sure where he went. I don't know if my attention was diverted. I don't know what happened. But I looked to my bedroom door, and last night it was open because my ex is gone south to visit family. And so I left my door open, and I'm seeing an entity, a pretty big one, standing there. And I mean, he looked enormous, and I'll tell you why he did in a second. But when I looked at him, it looked like he was crouched or kneeling on something, or kneeling. I don't know. And the reason why I say that is because when I made eye contact with him, he went from that position to standing. He was down, and then he like stood up. And I'm like, oh, was he kneeling? And then he walked to me with that feeling that I've had since the I don't want to name this particular entity, but I think you know where I'm going. It has to do with, gosh, I think everything that I'm going to tell you he had done, then they will be alerted. And I don't want that, although they're still around. My mind is racing and I'm like, good or bad, you know? And he comes up to me, and I have to tell you, he was pretty handsome. He was a warrior of some sort, and what he had on his body was armor, and it was big. I don't know if he had an armor hat on, but when he approached me, he had scars on his face. He had dark hair that was kind of in his face, and he looked right at me. And now that I said that, I think he was an ET. That was my intuition coming in. That happens when I'm describing something, something else will come in as I'm describing. I think he was an ET. But he came to the side of the bed, and I'm looking, and then that part of me is like, good, bad, good, bad. And I kind of looked away, and then I looked back, and he was going over me. And then he got caught up in the shapes. Remember, I've said they're in motion all the time. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if he intended for that to happen. I don't know. But he went on with the shapes. And I remember looking at him, and I was like, that is armor. I could see the design and everything. And it was pretty awesome. And he was a warrior, definitely, because of the armor and the scars on his face. But he was handsome. And then I looked to the door again, the bedroom door. And there's another entity standing there. And when I made eye contact with it, it was doing something very strange. And that part kind of scared me. And I looked away. It looked like he was doing the cha-cha toward me as he was walking toward me. His hips and all were doing this, like he was dancing. And I'm like, what? But that scared me. I don't know why. Maybe because it was odd. Odd in a way that, I mean, I don't know. I hate to title it as odd. But it was strange that he was, coming at me like that. And when I looked away, I think he went back to the door, because when I looked again, there was an entity at the door. I don't know if these entities were lining up. I don't know. They all don't. I don't know if the ones at the door are negative. And I say that because the red devil that I had seen twice was at my bedroom door and could not pass. And there was a couple more negative entities that I more or less welcomed them in because they weren't, bad. I think they wanted to greet me and touch my hand, and that's it, which was okay with me. But yeah, I think that's all that I remember anyway of what happened last night. I verbally out loud, I thought it and said it out loud to my protector, that one protector, and told him everything that I told you of what happened, and that I need to see his face. That would help me. And to make that eye contact would be very appreciated, because I'm all about eye contact. It lets me believe that they're listening to me, interested in what I have to say. I don't know if the reason why they put the helmets on is because they cannot breathe the air here. But if they're souls, I don't think it matters. But I'm just confused at why they come with helmets on. I'm thinking now, and I'm, going to ask them, please come without the helmet. Because I think that's why I didn't understand him before, because the helmet is on and it was muffled. I think I asked a couple of questions last night, I think it was. And I want to say that the questions were answered in the way I was hoping. And one is I always doubt myself. I'll back up and I'll admit that. I always doubt myself. I'm like, certain things come to me fast. My intuition is strong. And so when something is really easy for me to come up with the information, I feel it's false. I feel like I make it up because it's so easy and quick. So I asked if my soulmate's name was actually Ezekiel. And they said yes. I think that was one of the questions. But I had asked them a few other questions, and they were saying yes, that the things that I had, like the information that I had came up with, as in my soulmate's name is Ezekiel. Did I actually see this? Did I actually see or hear that? They were all acknowledging that yes, I was. And I remember raising my arms up and I was like, yes, I love those confirmations. And I had to ask for them often from other people. And it's because I doubt myself. I need to stop doubting myself. But when I was thinking of Zeke at one point on a specific day, I didn't know his name at that time. And I remember, I think I was sitting in the bedroom and I got his name just like I got mine, because Elora is not my birth name. I legally changed my name to Elora. But I heard Elora said in my head. And that's the same way I heard Zeke's name was Ezekiel. And I remember thinking, no, that was just too easy. No, that hadn't been my own mind. Well, it's not. And I'm here to say that a lot of things that all of us, I'm not going to just say me, sometimes when we're thinking, we're actually giving ourselves the answers. We just have to pay attention. And when you say, oh no, my mind just said that, that was me. Well, yeah, it was, and that was the answer. Don't ever doubt yourself. Although you're not going to sit here and say, am I going to win the lottery tomorrow? Yes. Oh, really? No. That's not going to be accurate. But that's how mine comes to me. That's how my information comes to me. Is so easy and so fast, and I'm in awe of it. I love it. Before I started this video, I was down and sad and gloomy and slightly angry. I think I know where all of that is coming from, but since I started this video, I do feel better. But I've got to work on those emotions. I did start working on it before I started this video. Of course, I need to continue through the day of working on them. All of those emotions are negative. And you shouldn't hang on to those because they're negative. You have to deal with it. You have to figure out the cause of them and how they affect you, and then heal them and then dismiss them. Sometimes in the past, I would say, I'm over it. In actuality, I wasn't. And my awakening was 2020, and I'm still working on the negative things that I experienced before that time. It's a never-ending process, it feels like. It's a pretty day. I didn't check the weather, the temperature today, but it's hot in here, and I had to turn the heat down up. That always confused me. I never know which direction it is to say, oh, I think it's backwards. Oh, I turned it up so it won't be so hot. I think that's how it is said. I don't know. But it was on 74, I think, and I turned it down to 70. So I described it. So hopefully you'll know. But I'm looking outside. It's really windy, and the skies are beautiful blue, and there's clouds. But it looks like it'd be warm. And if it is, when I check it after I'm done with this video, I might get out of the house. I might go get me a soda and just sit in the car for a while. But it's pretty looking out there. I love pretty weather. I don't like the trees are looking dead. That makes me sad. I'm not sure why. I don't know why it makes me sad, I should say. But I like them when they're alive and green. Well, they're always alive, but when they're green, I have started feeding the animals outside food. One, because it's getting cold, and two, something in me has just said feed the animals, and I have, and they've came and ate, and I was throwing out. Oh, it is a little chilly, because I just remembered I was throwing out bread, and it was a little chilly. I was throwing out pieces of bread, and something came over me and said that I was ascending. And we all ascend many times. You just don't ascend once. And I sat there and I was pleased to hear that. And I'm breaking apart this loaf and putting it all over the deck. And I just had this sense of peace come over me, calmness, I want to say. I don't know. I'm trying to feel the feeling that I had. It was peace. And I remember that it felt really good. I felt calm and relaxed and at peace. And I want to continue feeding them because, one, we throw a lot of the food in the trash. And two, it's cold outside and they probably have a very hard time finding food to eat. I'm going to try to keep doing that. And when I leave this house permanently, I plan on continuing to do so. I love animals. I love them tremendously. They are pure souls. And we should love them eternally. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this here. And I want you to know that I love you. And I'm going to send each and every one of you love, light, peace.